Yes, it's Ahsoka. Yes, I'm a giant nerd. Okay. Today we're going to be doing stories from Tales from Your Server. This is a new subreddit that I found just a few days ago, but I've been having so much fun reading through some of these stories. The first story is from the user Icarus Sunshine 16, and the title of the story is "Please Wait to Be Seated" is not a suggestion. So, hello. Do you see that big standing sign right in front of the door, blocking the walkway between the bar area and the dining room? Very obviously. The one that says, "Please wait to be seated." Do you know why it's in such an inconvenient spot and close to the entrance? Because I put it there. And yet you still can't read well enough or need better eyes because you seem to walk right past it and sit yourselves. Seriously, I just don't get it. When it's not that busy, I deal with it because the other hosts/servers won't enforce it since they don't see the issue and tell the customers to just sit wherever and get mad if I ask them to wait so I can sit them. But suddenly it's always a huge issue when it's busy and people sit themselves. And because they sat themselves on a busy night where we're all running around like headless chickens, since hosts where I work aren't able to just stay at the stand the entire time to keep a lookout, they don't get menus or a server since no one saw them. And then they get angry that no one saw them and got them a server. And then the host/server get angry at each other that they weren't given a server and their table wasn't put on the rotation, therefore messing up the whole rotation and causing more stress. Call me petty, passive-aggressive, or an a-hole, but when that happens and they haven't been noticed until up to 10 minutes, I step in. It truly gets so busy and filled with wandering drunk people that we don't always notice when they sit themselves and have to memorize what tables may or may not have been empty before. No one remains at their tables, ever. We rarely get to room to walk around. I go right up to them, look very obviously stressed because of how busy it is, menus in hand, and with a very polite and still higher pitch customer service voice and a smile, and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't see you there. We've been really busy, and also we're supposed to sit people." I say it politely and apologetically, but I'm actually filled with rage for them sitting themselves and nearly or already ruining the rotation and getting everyone mad with each other. 9 out of 10 times they're immediately apologetic and aren't upset at all, say they must have not seen the sign. You made direct eye contact with it the moment you opened the door, but sure, and thank me for the menus and just apologize for not waiting to be sat. 1 out of 10 times they get ticked off with me about how long they've been waiting, how they've come here for years, how this must be some new development because they always sat themselves and never wait. And when they say that, my go-to response is either, as professionally and nicely as I can, mention that I've worked there around 3 years now and it's been a thing the entire time and always has been. Or I just say with a shrug, "Okay, I'll get your server," and then walk away. I never get scolded for it. If you sit yourselves at a restaurant that has a "Please wait to be seated" sign that is made so obvious and you have not been given explicit permission that you can sit yourself, I hope you can still go back to school and try again with reading comprehension and learning how to wait. This isn't a Waffle House. Now, I wanted to include this story because I've seen this happen where there's a giant sign that says "Please wait to be seated." And I've seen other customers just walk right past it and sit themselves. But what they don't realize what they're doing is that when you're at a restaurant or somewhere, even if it's just a diner, and they have a bunch of waitresses, they have a rotation that they put in each people's section. So it's fair to each waitress or waiter what they're getting as far as customers. You know, section 1 gets a customer, section 2, then section 3, and so on and so forth, so they can keep the rotation even. When you just throw yourself into any section, you might be messing up that rotation, and you might be throwing everything off and making it so that one waiter or waitress is getting less customers and the other one is getting more. Or maybe you're sitting in a section that's already, completely filled, and they can't really take any more customers at that moment, but there are two that could help you out and give you better service because they have less customers. That's just a thing. Next story. This one is from Plenty Implement 4854. What would you do if a bad friend wants a recommendation? I have a friend that I've previously worked with at 2 jobs. I actually met her through the first job together, and when I moved on from that position, I got her a job at the restaurant I transferred to. Unfortunately, she's an awful employee. She will call out of work because she wants to go on a yacht, parties all night and shows up late for work, short with guests, etc. All those things I could care less about, and I've definitely called out of work before, but it unfortunately looked very bad on me since I had recommended her for the job. The first job we worked, I wasn't fully aware of her work habits since it was only a brief month or two we actually worked together. But the second job, it was glaringly obvious how bad she was, and it started to reflect on the way my boss saw me since I had essentially asked him to hire her. She ended up getting fired from that job, and I moved on, and now she wants to work where I currently am. How do I tell her gently that I won't stick my neck out for her again without completely souring the relationship? Now, there are quite a few comments on this, and a lot of them are saying one of two things. Either don't recommend them, or don't recommend them at all, or just, tell your manager that they're looking for the job, but say that you can't, say that they're the best employee. In fact, this one comment I wanted to read. Don't recommend them. Easy. Or just ask your manager and gently recommend she's not the best worker. Therefore, you fulfilled their request while not hurting opportunities at your current job. And the comment right under this says, that's the right approach. I will do this for bad recommendations. I say to my boss, hey, so-and-so is interested in vacancies. I can't in good faith recommend them, but I did promise to find out who they should contact, and y'all are free to evaluate them for yourself. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little more direct than that. If I don't think that you would cut it at the job that I'm working at, I wouldn't even tell you that they're hiring. I wouldn't tell you that they're hiring. I wouldn't, I wouldn't let you even know that there's an opening. I would just say there's no openings. They're not hiring. That's it. And if they find out they're hiring, then, or if they know for a fact already that they're hiring, just tell them flat out to their face, like, I'm sorry, I can't in good faith recommend you because then it's going to look bad on me. I already work here, but I know that you've done X, Y, and Z, and I can't do that for you. And I have recommended other people, even family members, to be hired for jobs, but it's people that I know that, whatever our personal stuff is, I know they're going to get the job done. I know they're going to do a good job of it. And I know that it's going to, it's going to reflect on me that I, recommended a good employee. And that's just the long and short of it. I would not recommend someone. I wouldn't even tell them about the job. But if they already know about it and they know that they're hiring, I would just flat out tell them, I don't think this would work out for you. I think maybe another opportunity would be best for you. Next story. I don't know what's wrong with me. Y'all have to sit here and deal with my nonsense. My first video says, welcome to my nonsense. I meant it. And this last one, I kind of didn't want to end it on such a bummer per se, but I will say this. I applaud this person for what they're going to do about the situation, because I totally feel them in this situation. So the username is Phoenix APOC, and the title of the story is I Just Quit Because I Don't Have It in Me to Work Another Holiday Season. This is a bit of a rant more than anything, but I'll try to keep it brief. Too many years of working customer service jobs of various kinds has killed my love of the Christmas season. The music constantly, the sales, the irritated customers, the bad hours. After our usually casual restaurant started decorating November 1st and started pushing all kinds of sales, not just of food, but of gift cards, merchandise, and charity items, and I noticed the stress level of everyone going up, I began to feel more and more anxious. When they started talking about how the best sections wouldn't be given to the people with the most seniority, or the most positive feedback, or even the most requested, or the highest tickets, or the most upsells, but to whoever sold the most gift cards, something inside me broke. I hate being sold something that I don't want. I hate solicitors. I hate going to Target and having people try to sell me DirecTV packages while I'm just there for milk. I wait on people the way I would like to be treated. And on top of that, every restaurant I've worked at has another issue. All the college kids want to come back during their break and make money. So either hours are cut, or you work the same hours with more people on, and you make less money anyway. And yet, ironically, asking for time off doesn't work out well because there are so many blackout dates. Last place I worked, you would be fired, even with a doctor's note, if you were out between December 21st and the 24th, or the 26th to the 31st. I looked at my savings and realized it would mean more to my mental health to just quit. I turned in my notice, because I do want to leave on good terms, and come back either after the holidays or find something else. Too many years in a row, I've dreaded December when it used to be my favorite time of the year. It's time to enjoy it again. And that's what I meant by I totally applaud this person for the way that they approached this situation. They knew that this was going to be another year where they just weren't going to enjoy Christmas. And, they decided to put their mental health first and actually just, look at their savings, say, I can make it by until, until January, and that's what we're going to do. And I think that's fantastic. That's why I think everybody should have an extra savings account. I call it the F around and find out account. But it's one of those things where it's just it's just emergency savings, if you have something happen and you need quick access to cash, that should be there. It should be steadily being put into. The other part of this that I wanted to touch on was the whole having to upsell to people. I've mentioned before that I used to help manage a craft store. It's actually not the first craft store that I've worked at. I used to work at AC Moore before they closed, and we started having to upsell these VIP memberships. Now, I loved AC Moore. It was my favorite craft store. Their prices were okay. It was great. I had a ton of fun working there. But shortly after we started rolling out these VIP memberships, where instead of the regular membership where you would just get points and you didn't have to pay anything, the VIP membership would give you either extra points or more money off of other stuff. So, but for a certain amount for the year, if I remember correctly, I think it was like $60 for the year. But don't quote me on that. But that happened shortly before, not even about a year before they went down the drain, and then they went and had to sell off everything in the stores and close all the stores. The other craft store that I recently have worked at, when they announced to the managers that they were going to be rolling out a credit card, I started looking for another job because it just gave me the same vibes as, AC Moore, and I did not want to go down that route again. Now, is this craft still growing? Yeah, it is. But they do have to deal with, like, every time I make a purchase there, even if it's for $5, like, oh, do you want to sign up for a credit card? No, I don't. I don't want a credit card for a craft store. It's odd to me. It's very, very odd to me, and I didn't like the idea of it, so I just left. Um, I really appreciate anyone who has listened up into this point. I appreciate any support that anyone has given me by watching my videos, or either subscribing, or subscribe, hit the little notification bell. That's a thing that people do. Also, I have not gotten one comment yet on any of my videos. So, first comment gets to be pinned to the top so that your comment will be at the top, as long as it just doesn't say first. Okay. Put something interesting there, even if you just comment like something like turtles. Those are my favorite animals.